tonight is going to be an epic interview with the president at the White House. So don't miss it. I go in to do that interview later this afternoon. It'll air at 9 p.m. Eastern time. It'll be unedited, and you'll be able to see him. Yeah. It's not like you're dealing with Joe Biden anymore. No. Yeah. It's just gonna let it ride. Let's see what he says. I have a lot of things to talk to him about. Like one thing that I would like to see, that I don't see anybody talking about. The president is changing the economy. He is changing. He's getting away from this World War II nightmare that might have been right for 1948, but it's certainly not right for today. Where we were taking care of Europe, we were giving them all kinds of special breaks. We were paying for their defense, yada, 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 yada. Instead, now America needs to take care of herself, and we all need to be self-sufficient. Well, we're talking about AI a lot, but what people are not talking about are something that Eric Schmidt came to to the Capitol Hill and testified a couple of days ago about the power usage. We have a significant problem with power. Now, I want you to understand, everyone will tell you we cannot lose the race for AI. Have you heard anyone say anything other than that, Stu?
No. Anyone who talks about it says we can't just let China or someone else win it.
It's 100% universal. We must win, okay? So where are we going to get all the power? Here's what Eric said. Many people project demand for our industry will go from 3% of total energy production right now. We're at 3% for all of our server farms and everything else for Silicon Valley. Uses 3%. He says it's going to go from 3% to 99% of all energy usage in the next 3 years. An additional 29 gigawatts by 2027 and 67 more gigawatts by 2030. He is now saying that we have to build hundreds of nuclear power plants. He said there are some plants, most plants will require one nuclear power plant per server farm. Some of them may require up to 3 nuclear power plants per server farm. So this is really good in one way because we will have the electricity that we need, assuming we start to build these things quickly. I mean, what's going to happen, Stu? It takes 25 years to build a nuclear power plant. How is it we're expected at all to compete? We have dismantled our coal fire plants all over the country. We are still not digging up coal and fuel as much as we need to. We need to be open valves on absolutely everything. That's something that Eric Schmidt said yesterday too. Now remember, this is a Silicon Valley guy. I'm sure he was green for a long time, but now he's saying we need absolutely every source of energy because we are going to need 99% by 2027. 2027. What do you think your power price is going to be? What do you think about rolling blackouts and brownouts? We have got to be, and this would create so many jobs, good paying jobs, going out and building all these nuclear power plants.
Is this an opportunity?
But will we do it?
For Trump and the Trump administration?
Huge.
I mean, because it feels also like talking about positives going on offense rather than being on defense. There's been a lot of defense talk lately. And going on offense and saying, hey, we can be the best place for your company to exist because we're going to be the only place on earth that has the power it needs.
Yep. The only other country that is doing it is China, and they're building them like crazy. This is something that we have. Donald Trump could surpass FDR in power generation. Remember, most people in 1919 in Woodrow Wilson, I think 1% of the population had a refrigerator by 1930, I think that number was like 80% had refrigeration. When FDR came in, the only places that didn't have stuff was there was no electricity in these small little rural towns. So he went and he started building power plants and dams and everything else to generate all the power, and then started laying power lines. This is something that Donald Trump could do, and it is time. I mean, our grid hasn't really been updated since FDR. We're still using the same stuff, and you know, a lot of it is just so outdated and so bad. Our grid is so incredibly unstable and not built for what's coming next. And I just don't know how he's going to get it done, but this is a big win for him. Big win for him. You know how many jobs would be created if we introduced and said we have to build them in the next 3 years? It would be enormous. Enormous. And exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, exciting. I mean, you know, look, having power is the basis of civilization. Like this is not a small little thing. I mean, you know, it really is one of the foundational elements you need for a modern civilization. And we sit here and we talk about all the things we can't do, all the natural resources that we have but we can't utilize, all the things that we need to stop, right? We need to stop making gas-powered cars. We need to stop getting our own coal and using it. We need to stop building nuclear plants. This is a way of saying, no, we're on offense. We're America. You know, the left is trying to right now, they're in the middle of a rebrand, and one of their, as we talked about last hour, they're still seemingly stuck in a lot of these crazy woke things that burned them last time. Hopefully they stick with those forever. But one of the proposals being floated around on the left is this idea of abundance. That's the name of the book that kind of lays these concepts out. And it's an idea of trying to take away what the right has always had, which is this idea of saying, hey, we're looking to grow. We want better things. We want the Americans to have a better, more fruitful, more wealthy, more, having more. And we'll decide what we want to do when we have more. And the left was always saying, hey, no, we need to restrict. We need to calm that down. You don't need all of this. Right. You don't need the bigger house. You don't need the bigger car. And that's not the fundamental number one thing we should care about. But it was always there for us to say, hey, all these shelves are stocked. Everything you need is right there. You make the decisions on what you want. You'll make the decisions and prioritize on what you're going to spend your money on and what you're going to spend your time on. And the left is trying to take that back right now. They're seeing an opportunity because of a lot of people on the right who are saying, no, actually, maybe we shouldn't have those things available. Maybe you don't need them. And I'm nervous. If they decide to go down this road, there is a real vulnerability to the conservative movement if the left takes that away from us, and they want to.
State it again more succinctly. What your concern again?
My concern is, and this is a real thing being talked about on the left in sort of their higher level academic circles, is the approach to take away that, I don't know, it was I would say, pretty consistent with that Reagan optimism, right? The shining city on the hill. The idea that
we can do it.
We can do it. We can accomplish all these incredible things, not through government, but through you. You can do it. We'll have all these things, and you should expect from your country an abundance, not scarcity.
What you said. I'm trying to figure out, where are you seeing that on the left?
I mean, there's a major bestseller that just came out called Abundance. And it was from the left. It was from two guys on the left, and I don't know that they'll win. I mean, but Ezra Klein, Derek Thompson, they're pretty well known people.
It's really hard to. It's really hard to sell. I mean,
I agree.
Look at Barack Obama. I know. Look at Barack Obama. Mm-hmm. He's got how many houses? 3, where he's building a seawall around one of his houses, where you can't build seawalls in Hawaii, but he's building a seawall around one of them. That's his part-time house. His other part-time house is in Nantucket, 1 foot above sea level. 1 foot above sea level. And he's got a third house someplace else. I think it's here in Washington. And he's always talking about, hey, there comes a time when enough is enough and you have too much. When is that, Barack? Because you're telling us that we shouldn't have an SUV. You've got 3 houses. See, this whole abundance thing has never been aimed at them. It's always been aimed at us. They believe in abundance, but only for the right people. The right people get it. And that is the biggest difference in abundance, is they've been saying that we all have to, pinch back, but they don't actually mean it. At least the Republicans are like, yeah, I'm corrupt as hell and making all kinds of money on the side, but you can too. It's just crazy.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, look, they've never actually believed any of these things, right? But what was their approach? Forever, we've heard the approach of, hey, your TVs are too big. Your cars, they have too much of what you need. The SUVs are too large. Your homes are too large. You don't need that air conditioning. You should turn it to 72 degrees. Now, I can bet you at neither Martha's Vineyard or in Hawaii, Barack Obama never had his house set to some uncomfortable temperature he didn't like.
Well,
but he
might have, because he's right on the ocean, and you get that lovely ocean breeze that most of us don't get.
That's true. But I mean, it was always something they tried to implement on the people, right? It was always, we get what we want, but you need to sacrifice for the greater good. And that's a thing that just doesn't connect exactly with the American people, not because they're not charitable, because they are. They want to do good things for other people. They will come together and do accomplish incredible things, which they have done. But it was always this idea that you would be able to, it was part of the American deal, right? We do these things. We work hard. Maybe we work harder. Maybe we work more hours. Maybe we put up with more crap. But with the idea that we can shape our own future, the left is trying to take that messaging back. Now, I'm with you in that I am not confident that viewpoint will win out on the left, because there's a bunch of insane people. But it is a vulnerability of the right if we go down this road of trying to encourage the same type of scarcity talk that the left has been engaging in.
Okay, so let's take that. Next hour, I want to tell you a story that fits right in here on what the leftists are doing now in San Francisco, because it's very similar to what you're talking about. And this morning when I read it, I was like, that'll never work. But maybe you're right. Maybe it will. I don't know, but it's insane. We'll talk about that and so much more coming up. Don't forget President Trump, an interview at the White House tonight at 9 with President Trump and I.